A cubit is a measure. Listen, a cubit is a measure of distance. All right. Parentheses. The forearm is roughly 18 inches. All right. The cubit of a man is roughly 18 inches. And how they do that is from your fingertip to your forearm. All right. It says about 18 inches. You know what I mean? This is like 6 inches right here. You know what I'm saying? My forearm ain't that big, but uh at averagely it's 18 inches. Okay.
Daddy, so every gash is an inch. So like measure the snow.
So check. So now, so Pete, that's funny. So it says this. Look, here's a definition: a measure of distance the forearm, roughly 18 inches, 0.5 meters. There are several cubits used in the Old Testament. All right, one, the cubit of a man, or the common cubit. All right, and we can look as a reference. We look at Deuteronomy 3, real fast. Hold on, let me see. Deuteronomy 3, which said 3 and 11. Deuteronomy 3 and 11, and it says, for Deuteronomy 3:11 says, "For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was the bedstead of iron. It is not. Is it not in Rabbath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth thereof. After the cubit of a man." So you see, after the cubit of a man, and the cubit of a man, we just read by definition, is measured from your forearm to the middle, or from your forearm to your fingertip. That should be like really 18 inches. All right. So what's another measurement? The legal cubit or cubit of the sanctuary, and that's found in Ezekiel 40 and 5, and plus it's others. But we're just dealing with the cubit of a man right now. So now, if let's look at this. So the Amorite, they're all the Amorite, the Philistine, and Og of Bashan. They're all coming out of the line of Ham, the lineage of Ham. Let's look at it real fast. So look at Genesis chapter 10 and pick it up at verse 1. Good.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
All right, 6. Go skip the 6.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Phut and Canaan.
All right, go over, skip on down to verse 14 and read. No, verse 13 and read.
And Mizraim begat Ludim.
Mizraim is who? That's Egypt, right?
Egypt.
All right, go ahead, keep going.
And Mizraim begat Ludim and Ananim and Lehambib and Naphthalim.
Keep going.
And Phutrusim
and Pathrusim and
Cassalim, out of whom came Philistine.
So now Pathrusim, out of him they came. He had a son. Out of them came the Philistines. So who's of the Philistine? Goliath, right? You can read that in 2 Samuel. All right. So keep reading.
And Caphtorim and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth. And the Jebusite and the Amorite and the Girgasite.
So we dealing with the Amorite, right? And who we dealing with? And what's the name? The Amorites. Keep going.
And the Hivite and the Archite and the Sinite and the Arvadite and the Zemarite and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And
all right, we're gonna show you where the Amorite is and all this, because you got to go to another place to find it too, also. But how do I want to do this? because I want to show you this span. We'll start here first. Hold on, there's another, let me give you another measure of measure of unit, which is called a span, because you might need this too. We're going to need it. So look, you got a cubit, which is 18 inches, and then we got a span. A span is a measure of unit, approximately half a cubit, or the distance from the thumb to the little finger on an outstretched hand. So there it is. That's what I'm saying. There it is. There it is. So that's 9 inches right there. So that's about half a cubit, right? A cubit is what?
18. So
A span is 9. Now let's make it all come into play. Watch this. It's all gonna come into play.
so King's alphabet was like about 13 feet.
We're gonna look at it. Let's look at it again. Let's read it real fast. Deuteronomy 3. Deuteronomy 3, and then we're gonna do the math. Somebody out there got a good pencil, right? We don't have no daggone what's the name. I can't write it down.
62 inches equals to like 13 feet.
I love it. Let's read. Let's do it. Can somebody write it down for me?
Because if we're going by a cubit, it's 18 inches times the 9 cubits, it'd be 162. And if you convert it to
Feet.
feet, it will be 13 feet.
So that's his bedstead.
That's just his bed.
Yeah. So now, what was him? I mean, so like we got to look at what he was. You know what I mean? So 3 and 1. What it say? What it say?
Then we turned and went
What
up,
was it? 3 and 11. I'm sorry, 3 and 11. It said what?
for only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. It is not in Rebath.
Is it not in Rebath?
Is it not in Rebath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, and the cubit of a man.
After the cubit of a man. Let's look at Chronicles. Go to First Chronicles real fast. First Chronicles 11 and 22. First Chronicles 11 and 22. And when you get there, read that.
Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts. He slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Also, he went down and slew a lion in a pit in a snowy day.
Go ahead.
And he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature.
Go ahead. So he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature. What's the stature dealing with? Your height, right? How you build. So who was this Egyptian? Well, go ahead.
5 cubits high, and in the Egyptian's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam. And he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and slew him with his own spear.
All right, smooth. So now we're dealing with this. Now, if he's 5, now he's 5 cubits high, right? How tall is it?
About 7 feet.
7 feet 6 to be exact. Right. So when you break it down, if we had a chart here, I would have did it. I'm doing it this way so that we can see. You got a cubit is what? A foot and a half, right? 18. So then you got 5. When you break it down, how I would have broke it down was I would have wrote the cubit. You have 5 cubits, right? Then I would take the half, right? So you would have a 5 is 1 foot, right? 12 inches. The halves, 2 halves make 1 inch. So you get 7, and then after that you have 6 foot left over. Correct? 6 inches, left over. So that's 7. You got 5, 7, 7, 6. You know what I'm saying? He'd be 7'6". But it's better when you see it written out. You know what I'm saying? So he's 7'6" tall. But he had he had a weaver's beam in his hand. Huh? Definitely. Shaq is, like I said, 7'1". Yao Ming is 7'6". So you know what I mean? So now they called him he's of a big stature, or he's like a giant. But who else has a weaver's beam? And he's from the son. He's an Egyptian. See, Ham had the gene that produced all these giants. All right. So Anak is part of the genealogy of Ham, and they're all Canaanites. And we're gonna see it. The scripture's gonna prove it out. So now look, who else had a weaver's beam? So this is some man that was an Egyptian that Benaniah, the Israelite, he killed him. But who else had the weaver's beam? Let's say it again, brother. Let's go look at it then. Let's go see Goliath, right? Go to 1 Samuel 17. And Goliath had cool. Oh shoot, let me see. There's no sound. All right, it's good. All right, peace. Matthew 16. Oh, I got you. That's the earth. All right, got you, sis. All right, so look, here we go. First Samuel 17, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 4. 1 Samuel 17 and verse 4. 1 Samuel 17 and verse 4. Go ahead, brother. Pick it up. Go ahead and read.
And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And he had an helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam.
So there's a weaver's beam, because you see the people of that east, the people of Ham, they were dealing with these weaver's beams. You know what I mean? Now, I guess that was like a trait that they would have. These giant people would have. They had it. But the staff was how long? Was how big?
Staff. And the staff was like a weaver's beam.
Oh, it says Goliath of Gath, whose height was how old? How was his height? 6 cubits and a span. So now, if his height, Goliath, is 6 cubits and a span, let's see how tall Goliath is. Remember, span 18 inches. I mean, I'm sorry. A cubit is 18 inches, and a span is 9 inches. So do the math. How tall was it?
9 feet. 9 inches.
Absolutely, 9 feet.
So now can you see the average man in Israel is like 6 foot?
Back then?
Yeah. I mean, ain't nothing changed.
That is
So you think that, you know, you go up against a 9-foot person, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole 3 feet. And he's 9'9". He's almost touching, you know what I mean, 10 foot. You know what I'm saying? He's short, what, 3 inches?
3 inches, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and then you know how and then it wasn't like, I don't think the brother was skinny, you know what I'm saying? And like he probably had some build on him, you know what I'm saying? Because as you get taller, I mean bigger, your mass comes out. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't David.
So and David, peep that, you know what I mean? And David was a youth then, you know what I mean, when he went to go up against him. So now I can like better see why Goliath would feel the type of way. Like he a champion, they up against an army. Like, you gonna send this youth out here? You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's 9'9" right here, right? So let's look at another one. Let's deal with Anak. Let's deal with Anak, because the children was going off, and I'm gonna show you that all these people was part of Israel. I mean, part of the lineage of Ham. I got a little definition here. It says Anak, which means neck, right? It says he's the progenitor of a family or tribe of giant people in Canaan, right? Turn to Numbers real fast. Go to Numbers. Numbers 13. Go to Numbers 13 and pick it up at verses 1 and 2.
You said verse 2?
1 and 2. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them.
All right, so now this is when the Lord given charge for them to go spy the land and go look at it. But go, skip down to 22 because they're going to see what was in the land. Skip to 22 and read.
And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman and Shishai and Talmai, the children of Anak, were.
So, and this is where the Anakims come from right here, right? Which is another group of giants. So it says here, and they ascended by the south and came to Hebron. Remember that name too, because when we took over the land, we changed it to Hebron, but it was a name prior to that. You know what I mean? And like I said, Anak is the son or the progenitor of a group of people or a group of giants in the land of Canaan. So now watch this. And they ascended by south and came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Why? Go ahead.
Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt.
All right, don't worry about it. Let's go look at another place and look at this where we can find out who they were. Go to Judges 10. Go to Judges 10. Judges 1 and 10. Go to Judges 1 and 10.
Can't just Abba.
Yeah, right. Right.
Wasn't Abba one of the
That's his father. That's the father. You know what I'm saying? That's the father of Anak. What I say, Judges 1 and 10. So go ahead.
Verse what? 1?
Oh, well, first read verse 1 first, and then we're gonna skip to 10. Go ahead.
So it's 1 and 1. 1 and
Judges 1 and 1.
Okay. Now, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, Who shall go up first against the Canaanites, first to fight against them?
So understand, we taking over our land. So we going in and getting all the inhabitants out. Remember, one of the reasons why we had to walk in the wilderness for 40 years was what? When they went to go and spy out the land, they came back with an evil report and said, look, we be like grasshoppers in front of these people. You know what I'm saying? Because they seen that there's a land of giants all over there. They were all tall. So, because they didn't believe the Lord, after the Lord done destroyed down Egypt to the ground, like he destroyed Egypt down to the ground, but they still didn't believe that the Lord could do this. But you know what I mean? So he's like, no, you know what? I'm going to make y'all die in front of, you know what I mean? Y'all going to die out, and I'm going to do this with y'all children. So anyway, so watch. Skip the go to 10. Go to verse 10.
And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron was Kirjath-baal. And they slew Shishai and Ahiman and Talmai. And from thence he went against the
Who is
inhabitants.
Shishai? Who is Teman? and who is a Haman? I mean, who's Talman, Haman, and Shishai? Who are they? Remember, they're the sons of Enoch, which are giants, which are Canaanites. Where did the Canaanites come from? Ham. All right, so just I'm showing y'all this because Ham had that seed that just produced giants. That's all I'm saying. After the flood, you know what I'm saying? You got tall people that just come from the land of Ham. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So look here. So go to Joshua 21. Go to Joshua 21 real fast. Yes. I can't hear you. Say again. Hold on, brothers. What else, right?
Basketball team. They got the Gina
I mean, if they Hamites, does Yao Ming got the Gina Ham on? Yao Ming is Gentile. So apparently, in the Gentile guys, I got some people far few in between that can be tall too. But Ham was known for this. You know what I'm saying? Like he was known for all this. My man, no, obviously some people can.
What's the tumble?
Tumble.
I don't know. Look, you know what? Y'all got you have social media.
Google.
Get your cell phone and somebody Google Matumbo's height.
Hey Siri, how tall is Matumbo?
There it is. Siri gonna be like, aren't you in Sabbath class? Talk to me after the sun goes down.
He's African, he's a Hamite, that's why.
Yeah, see what it is. See. No, seriously.
Hey Siri, how tall is Matumbo?
Taken Matumbo is 7 feet 2 inches tall.
Wow, it's tall too. It's up there.
That's like what's that?
That's
what's
why
that?
he can say no,
five,
no,
five,
no.
That's 5 inches. I'm 5 cubits, rather. 5 cubits.
He's a basketball.
He's not taller than Manute.
Well, he was.
Manute Ball.
He's African, but
He's tall. He's like 7'7".
Hey Siri, how tall is Matumbo?
Like 7'7", 7'9".
I mean,
Yeah.
Who is that?
I said 7'7". Manute Ball.
7 inches.
Ask how tall is Yao Ming.
Hey Siri, how tall is Yao Ming?
Yao Ming is 7 feet 6 inches tall.
7'6".
How tall is Shaq? Shaq.
Hey Siri,
Shaquille.
how tall is
I
Shaq?
think.
Shaquille O'Neal is 7 feet 1 inch tall.
yeah.
7'1".
I'm sorry. 7'4". I'm like, you gonna tell me 7'4"? I'm like,
You know why I keep saying that? Because he's only like 2 inches shorter than Yao Ming.
nah. Apparently, he's 5 inches shorter than Yao.
5 inches shorter.
But he was bigger than
7'6".
like this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just did this last night. That's why I was sure about how tall he was.
But all of those Africans, they all Hamites.
Not
So,
Not Shaq, I know not Shaq.
We don't know. Actually,
so understand. Listen. Who's in here? They're all Africans right now. You know what I mean? They're all part of Ham. You know what I'm saying? And we destroyed most of them out of land, all of them out of our land. You understand? Now Ham has the gene. Ham is still around here to this day. So it's like it's not out of. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean,
Some of them.
it's still no. Actually, there's a lot of tall tribes in Africa. You know what I'm saying? But you just don't hear about them like that. But there's
But the Hamites I see now are small in stature.
Where we at?
Over here.
We over here.
Yeah, no, I think
I think it's less possibility.
like that guy that got that Asian lady out there.
all right, brothers and sisters.
Israel.
Israel. Still in class. Little order, please. Thank you. So now, where was I at? Hyman, Sheshai, and Talman. These are sons of Anak, right? Judges, we were just in Judges, right? And it said, what? Oh, no. Whatever, it don't matter. Go to Joshua. Go to Joshua 20, 21 and 11. Joshua 21 and 11 says, What?
And they gave them the city of Arba,
Pick it up at 10, and we're going to 11. Go ahead.
which the children of Aaron,
Aaron.
being of the families of the Kohathites, who were of the children of Levi, had for their heirs was the first lot.
All right, go ahead.
And they gave them the city of Arba,
Who's
the
Arba?
father of Anak.
So Arba is the father of Anak, of Anak. Go ahead.
Which city is Hebron in the hill country of Judah.
Because Judah got that land. Remember, we went in there and took it. And what was the name of the city before it was called? Kirjath Arba, the father of Anak, which is a Canaanite. You know what I mean? Which are all from the sons of Ham. So sons of Ham had that predominant gene that made people giants. You know what I'm saying? No, giants. All right, that's what I wanted right there. Yeah. All right, let's go to Genesis 10 and 6 real fast. Oh no, we already go to Genesis 10 and 6 and 15 through 18. We was already there, but that's what we was dealing with this cedars. When they say that they like the cedars of getting back to your original question, brother. When they say that they are like the cedars, the height of the cedars, it's not like the actual height. Because how big is a cedar?
Goes to 30.
Exactly. So you ain't gonna see it like that. But that was just like a metaphor, like they're like cedars to us, man. You know what I mean? Like Shaq Matumbo would be to Jason, to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wouldn't that be an extreme?
The Lord always compares nations to mountains, right?
Huh?
The Lord always compares nations to mountains and nations to hills.
Mhm.
And so it's that.
Yeah,
It's metaphoric. It's symbolic.
it's symbolic, man. You know what I mean? It's just like it ain't going on. And Lord, we always do that with a whole bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, Israel's real.
50 dudes outside.
Israel's flavorful. You know what I'm saying?
It's only 5.
Genesis 6, Genesis 10 and 6.
Genesis 10 is.
Remember Genesis 10 and 6, which says what again?
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah and Sapta and Ramah and Sabta.
No, that's cool.
Okay.
Now go to 15. Go to 15.
And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
So now afterwards, the families of the Canaanites were spread abroad. Those Canaanites include, you know what I'm saying, the Philistines, the Amorite includes also the Og, king of Bashan, you know what I mean, who we read about in Deuteronomy 3 and 11. You know what I'm saying? These are all these people that we destroyed. They're Canaanite. They're Canaanites, okay? And they are all the sons of Ham. So, are they really as simply tall as the cedar? It's just like, no, they just taller than the average man. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And we have people that even in this time could be considered giants. And we named a few today. Kimi Matumbo, Yao Ming. You had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Manu Bol, you know what I mean? Shaq. All these people they're standing out in the crowd, bro. Sis. So that's what that is. So I hope that helps you, brother.
7-2.
Your brother Glenn. Brother Glenn. I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you out, brother. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now let's see. What? Please explain online. It says, please explain Matthew 16, 18 through 19. Matthew 16, 18 through 19. Yeah.
Matthew 16.
16, 18 through 19. When you get there, brother, go ahead and read.
And I say also unto thee,
No.
Matthew
Let's read
16.
into it.
Okay.
Pick it up at 13. Matthew 16. What's in question is 18 and 19, but we're going to read into it. So go from 13.
When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi,
Mm-hmm.
he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, some say thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah's,
That's Elijah. Go ahead.
or
Some
one
Jeremiah.
of the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am?
And what did Peter say?
And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ,
Uh-huh.
the Son of the living God.
Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah,
Uh-huh.
for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven.
All right. And now the questions done out of verses in question. Go ahead.
And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Go ahead.
And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven,
Uh-huh.
and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loose in heaven.
All right. So let's see what this question is. So please explain. All right. It said Jesus, the rock. Is Jesus the rock it's referring to? Yes. What does Jesus giving the keys to the kingdom to Peter mean? What does bound in earth, loosed in heaven, and vice versa mean? Thanks, got you. All right. So now, yes, Jesus in fact is that rock. He didn't say what the Catholics say is that Peter is the rock. But we're going to see that, who's that rock? Christ. Let's just look at it. We're going to say, let's look at it.
Chief cornerstone.
He's a chief cornerstone, right?
Right.
And let's look at that. Go to Ephesians. Go to Ephesians real fast. Ephesians chapter 2. Go to Ephesians chapter 2. Go to Ephesians chapter 2 and pick it up at verse 19.
Now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God.
So understand, this is then Paul is talking to the Ephesians, which happened to be Gentiles. Gentiles was not brought in until Peter actually brought them in. You know what I mean? When we're talking about Cornelius in Acts chapter 10, that's why he says what Peter binds in heaven is going to be bound, and whatever he loose or bound, whatever he bounds on earth is going to be bound in heaven, and whatever he loose on earth is going to be loose in heaven. Meaning that he got authority to do this because Peter is the one that brought the Gentiles in. So whatever he say is going to go. And what's it going to go by? The word of God. God is the one that brought. When Peter went to the Gentiles, what did he say to Cornelius? We're going to read it. But then he say, you know how it is unlawful for me that a man that is a Jew to come and sit amongst one of another nation, because the Jews wasn't dealing with them. So if he would not, if it wasn't given to him to do this, and Peter's a pillar in the church, the Gentiles would have been still set now. You see how God had to come to Peter and prepare him for that. So whatever he bind, whatever he say goes, and whatever he say is not, it goes. This is basically all it's saying. That's all it's saying right there, because Peter is he's like basically the one that's running, representing for Christ to bring in the Gentiles. But we'll get to that if you don't understand that. Let me see. So Paul, which is an apostle to the Gentiles. Let's read into it. Go to 11. Go to 11, and we're going to read all the way down. We're getting to verse 20 because Jesus is the rock of whom this church is going to be built on. Yeah, we're in Ephesians 2. I'm picking up at verse 11. When you get there, go ahead and read.
Wherefore remember that ye, being in times past Gentiles in the flesh,
Right.
who are uncircumcision,
Who are called.
uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision.
So now he says, you're Gentiles in the flesh who are called uncircumcision, who are called uncircumcision by them which are called circumcision. So you're called uncircumcision by the Jews, because the Jews are the ones that are circumcised. All right, that's what he's saying. In the flesh, made by hands. Verse 12.
That at that time ye were without Christ.
Now remember, at that time, you Gentiles, you were without Christ. All right. Remember, before Peter came in, you mean in Acts chapter 10, and brought the Gentiles in, they wasn't dealing with none of them. You know what I'm saying? So now Peter, like I said, he's going to come into play where he says, upon this rock, upon me, Peter, because Peter, it was revealed to Peter that that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus is going to tell him, upon this rock shall my church be established, meaning that I am Christ. I am the rock. That's what my church is going to be established on. And Peter's going to be the one to bring it in. That's all he's saying. Keep going, brother.
By which is
So
called
verse 12, it says that at that time ye were without Christ,
being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world.
But what?
But now in Christ Jesus, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Christ.
Right.
For he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition.
So what had
us
us separated, Christ, when his blood came, he came and made reconciliation, bringing in not only the lost of Israel, but those of the world, that whoever called upon him, they can have access back to the Father now. He broke down that middle wall of partition between the Jews and the Gentiles and those that are without God, as long as you do what the God says. So keep going, brother.
Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace.
Go ahead.
And that he might reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby.
That's right, because Jesus came to restore that which he took not away. He came to give life back. Go ahead.
And came and preached peace to you which were afar off.
Who was afar off? The Gentiles. Right? Upon Jesus told Peter, upon this rock, you know what I mean, is my church going to be established. What is the church? What is the church? The many-membered body. Is it just Israel only? When the church came out of Israel, they were in the wilderness. When they came out of Egypt, was it just Israel? It was a mixed multitude, but God called them all Israel, didn't he? Y'all got to get this. Y'all got to get this. When Israel was brought out of Egypt, a mixed multitude came. So that means some Egyptians came there too. All right. God recognized it was strangers in there, but when he was talking to them, who he's saying? To Israel. Did he say, and the strangers? Because if the stranger was taking hold of the covenant of Israel, then you become spiritually Israel. This was the whole plan the whole time. This is the plan. God is not small-minded. Man is small-minded. God, look, I'm trying to save creation. I didn't come here just to save Israel. And some of our Hebrew brothers be coming out here on some bull, you know what I mean, on some like only Israel can be saved. Like, you serious? Like Lord's gonna repair the waste places that David had. Like it's bigger than that. It's bigger than rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he coming to save creation. So now when you look at the Ephesians, who's Paul talking to, they're straight up Gentile. And Paul went and was speaking in Acts. You can see that he was speaking to Barnabas and Paul. They were only speaking to Israelites at first. But when they say that they counted themselves unworthy to receive instruction, then what did he do? He said, look, we wipe our hands of it, and now we're going to go speak to the Gentiles now. So now, who are we talking about here? You know what I mean? Because Israel just don't read. You know what I'm saying? If they were speaking to none but Jews at the time and they didn't count themselves worthy, then who are the Gentiles? Oh, they're the ones that's dispersed. They're going to go to the ones that dispersed into where the Gentiles at. Nah, cut it out, man.
Now, it couldn't be some of the Israelites amongst, because they wasn't paying attention, could they still been talking to them? Like those that was lost,
Yeah,
still.
but
trying
no,
to
but
give them attention. Like,
it's all,
come
listen.
back.
Listen, when let's go to Acts real fast. Go to Acts. Let's go to Acts. Let's go to Acts real fast. Somehow, some way, Israel just don't believe that Gentiles are Gentiles.
Well, some people believe that amongst the Gentiles were other Israelites that had lost their way.
That is the cute.
Paul was still talking.
But guess what? They're Gentiles.
Yeah, you're right. At that moment, because they
No,
wasn't.
I mean, they're amongst Gentiles, but who are
They're Israelites, but
they? So we're not gonna. So we're going to distinguish just because they're amongst the Gentiles and they have adopted the Gentile way. This is what our Hebrew brothers do. You know what I mean? Play with words. Gentiles are Gentiles. Because I'm around Gentiles, and we all had it until we found out that we were Israel. You know what I'm saying? When we found out that we were Israel, guess what? I was an Israelite, adopted the Gentile customs,
God,
but I'm never a Gentile.
feel you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
And my brothers and sisters, my Hebrew brothers, man, they can't get that. No, listen, man.
So, but,
We adopted their customs.
so Paul couldn't have been. What I'm saying is, Paul couldn't have been talking to some Israelites who lost their way.
Of course he could have, but
Ephesians.
why did he say, I am an apostle to the Gentiles? What does that mean?
He's talking to the Gentiles.
Which are, just make it real plain,
Gentiles.
white people, European or white people. That's what they talking. I mean, we're gonna make it real plain. You know what I mean? Because when he's talking to white people, he was talking to them. Now, guess what? As he's gone, because there could be spread. Matter of fact, there was people that was spread there because they were coming and bringing an evil report. You know what I mean? And making the people that they said, the Israelites came and was saying that you had to get circumcised and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like there was Jews that was around the Gentiles that was latching on to what Paul and them was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they were there, but they were hard-headed. But we're gonna read it. Hold on. Where was that? Acts. Hold your finger where we is at and go to Acts.
Which number?
Chapter. Let me get to it first. Let me get to it. I want to say. Boom, 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 boom. Acts chapter 11. Go to Acts chapter 11 and (17). Read.
For as much then as God gave them the like gift as he did unto us who believed on the Lord Jesus Christ, what was I that I could withstand God? When they heard these things, they held their peace and glorified God, saying, then have God also to the Gentiles granted repentance unto life.
So now listen, this is Peter, to whom God has given the keys to the kingdom to. He's rehearsing what had just happened in Acts chapter 10. All right. Because the Gentiles came in. And if we go and look and see what happened, he's like, you see how it's unlawful for me, who is a Jew, where it says in Acts chapter 10, well, let's be thorough. Acts chapter 10, where it says in verse 28, he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. All right, we're not talking about Hebrews here. We're talking about stranger here. All right. So now, but what did he say? But God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Go to verse 34 in Acts chapter 10, and it says this. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. Here we go to my more zealous Israelite brothers, God ain't no respecter of persons. Right? But in every nation of Israel, does that say?
No.
Does that say, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. For the word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preached by Jesus Christ, he is Lord of all Israelites. Does that say that? No, he's Lord of all. He's God of all. It says it again in Romans. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, is he God of the Jews only? Is he not God of the Gentiles? Yeah. To those that's going to be obedient to him, of course. Otherwise, you logs for the fire. That's Jew or Gentile. It don't matter. You know what I mean? We can see that in Romans also. So stop being small-minded. Like like our brothers gotta stop being small-minded out here. And sisters, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that's you, but I'm saying that's out there. You know what I mean? Like God is he's on the business of reclaiming humanity. And he used the priest to talk to all the sons of Adam. We dropped the ball. For, and we picking it back up again. For the time being, Rome was dribbling and dibbling, dabbling. Now we go to heaven. Now we got a man that's the Holy Father. You know what I'm saying? We got all type of doctrine that's crazy because Rome picked up because the children of Israel got scooped, was put up out of there. But the priests are retaking their place. So now back to Ephesians, where it says now, at verse 14, he says, for he is our peace, who have made both one, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in the flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make to in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, that he might reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity. All right. Skip down the verse. Read all the way through that because it's going to explain it. Keep on going, brother.
Okay,
We back in Ephesians. Don't worry about it. Ephesians 2. So
okay.
Verse 17. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Ephesians 2 and 17.
And came preach peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh. Who was afar off? The Gentile. Who was them that was nigh? Israel. All right. So now, for through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. What is that one Spirit? What is that one Spirit that we have access to the Father by? The flesh profited nothing. Word. We all live by the word. We're gonna have access to the Father. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do that. Now, therefore, what?
Ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles.
So it's built upon the foundation of the apostles. Who else?
And prophets.
And the prophets. That's the law. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone.
So Jesus is the chief cornerstone of this. So getting back to the original question, sis, like you said, is Jesus the rock he is referring to? Absolutely. Peter, he gave the keys to Peter because Peter, he gonna go through, he's opening up the door to the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So what he looses on earth is going to be loose in heaven. Basically, what he say on earth is going to be done in heaven. God agrees with it because can't nothing come unless who agree with it? The Father. And he's working in tune with the Father. So that's all that just means. Like him and Jesus are in tune together. The Lord and Peter and the apostles, they all in tune together. That's all that's saying. Y'all, you get it? I mean, you get it?
Yeah,
Smooth.
it wasn't my question.
I know, but I'm just saying, I know, I'm gonna say, but you get it, right? It's smooth. So I hope that's good, sis. I hope you got some understanding in that.
That's my one.
Sister Keisha.
It's about to be deep.
It's about to be deep.
No, it's not.
We're going in. Going hard. Go ahead.
You would like to know
Hmm?
why Jesus calls himself the Son of Man?
You said you would like to know? Oh, you got a ventriloquist going on now. Throw my voice a little bit. What's happening, brother? Go ahead.
Why did Jesus refer to himself as the Son of Man? And not the Son of God? So we refer to-
Got you. Because he had to come. That's cool. Because he had to come through man. Go to he had to come through man, just like Adam was a man. He could, if he'd be cheating, if he came as God. You understand? Adam. Go to Hebrews. Chapter 2. So now go to Hebrews chapter 2. In order to know this, you got to understand what the issue was in the first place. Adam, the first Adam, blew the mission. And the first Adam, because the first Adam blew the mission, all of mankind had death put upon them. Okay? So now, no matter what this man has done afterwards, understand, you could have lived the whole law, you could live your whole life and kept all the law. But because of, and been perfect in it. We read earlier that Noah was perfect in his generations. But guess what? Noah died, didn't he? Abraham, he kept all the laws. But guess what? Abraham died, didn't he? David kept the laws of God. He only transgressed once. You can read this in 2 Samuel. Except for the matter of Uriah. All right? He died. And we know that David is going to come back and sit on the throne. The issue we had to get over was the payment for sin, which is death. Nobody in creation could do that. No man could do that because he's tainted by Adam. So a new man had to come. Not coming from the seed of man. That's why when the Lord in Genesis, it tells you that when they start going down, let's look and see where it got tainted at. And then we're going to go to Hebrews. Go to Genesis chapter 3. This is the fall of man. And the Lord is 3:15. And the Lord's going to start putting down punishment on what happened. Genesis 3:15. When you get there, go ahead and read.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
So now he's talking to Satan now, right? I'm going to put enmity between thee and the woman, and between what?
And between thy seed and her seed.
Ho. Does a woman have seed or does man have seed?
Man.
Man has seed. This is why when we come to Hebrews, the Lord says sacrifices and offering. Go to Hebrews. Sacrifices and offerings thou would hast not, but thou hast prepared a body for me. Why did he prepare a body for him? Go to Hebrews 10. Hebrews 10. Whoa, let's.
Did you say Genesis?
No. I was at Genesis first. 3. Hebrews 2. Go to Hebrews 2. 2 and I'm gonna read into it, bro.
Okay.
Put verse 9. Read.
But we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels.
Why was he made a little lower than the angels? He couldn't come like God because that'd be cheating. He had to go through. He had to do exactly what Adam did, yet without sin, so that he can be a right payment for sin, so God can be pleased with it. So now we see Jesus made a little lower than the angels for what?
For the suffering of death.
That's right. Go ahead.
Crowned with glory and honor.
That
he, by the grace of God, should taste death for every man.
He's going to taste death for every man. Why? Hold your finger here. We're going to come right back. Go to Romans real fast. Go to Romans chapter 5. And we're going to come back to this. Go to Romans 5 and pick it up at verse 12. When you get there, go ahead.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin.
See, by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. Who is that one man? Adam is going to tell you. Go ahead.
And so death passed upon all men, for that all men have sinned.
Go ahead.
For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed where there is no law.
All right, that's cool. So now go over here to verse 17 and read.
For if by one man's offense death reigned by one.
So now, for if by one man's offense, which is Adam, because he offended God, death reigned. He brought death upon the whole earth. Keep going.
Much more they which receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Jesus Christ.
Go ahead. So now skip to verse 19.
For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners.
So by Adam's disobedience, many were made sinners. We're all underneath that death sentence. Go ahead.
So by the obedience of one,
So now by the obedience of Jesus shall what?
Shall many be made righteous.
So now, and the effect is going to be proven when Jesus cracked, when he cracked the sky. If you done did what you needed to do, if you're living, you're going to meet him, become God. If you died and live as you were supposed to, guess what? You're going to be raised first. When Jesus cracked the sky, you're going to be raised, and then you're going to meet him. And then those that are living are going to be changed in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, and they're going to go and meet him in the air, come back down here and live together. But you needed that payment first. You needed that payment first. Read verse 11.
And not only so, but we also joy in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom we have now received the atonement.
When you atone for something, what does that mean? You paid. He had to be he is the propitiation. He's the payment for that. Now go back to Hebrews, where we is at. This is why Jesus had to come through man. Hebrews 2:9 says, but now we see Jesus, who is made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he, by the grace of God, should taste death for every man. Keep going. 10.
For it became him,
for
whom all are all things, and by whom are all things.
And doing what?
In bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. For both he that sanctified,
verse 12,
saying, I will declare the name unto my brethren, in the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee.
Go ahead.
And again, I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which God hath given me.
All right, now verse 14, where we want to get to. Go ahead.
For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh.
So why couldn't Jesus come down here, and he's God? Why couldn't he just be God and just come down here and be like, you know what, I'm gonna lay it down and run it down? Because God has order, he has judgment, and he's trying to save mankind. So the blood of bulls and goats could not atone for that. And we're gonna read that a little bit later on. The blood of bulls and goats couldn't do that. This is why when we read in Genesis, he said, I'm going to put enmity between thy seed and her seed. Wait, the devil can have seed? No, the devil don't have children like that. You know how you become the devil's child? By listening to what the devil said and following. That's why in John 8, Jesus said, ye are of your father, the devil. And the lust of your father ye will do. Or the will of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and he abode not in the truth. So that's how you become there. So now the woman's seed, Christ, we can read that account of that. The Lord overshadowed Eve, Mary, and he just put the seed up in her. You know what I mean? That's all it was. You know what I mean? People be marveling over that as if the creature don't do that all the time.
I'm not right.
Like it's called ain't it called like surrogate mothers and all that stuff like that, or you know what I mean? Like you just take somebody's seed and put it in it. Like God, it's not impossible. But Israel be getting Israel be getting super spiritual, man. Like, God can't do this. He had to lay with her. It had to be a seed. Like, God made us out of dust. You think about that. You tell me how that happened. How you less than a speck. How all of us was less than, we can't even look at it. And we all came out to be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you want to holler about, like, is there anything too hard for God? God made Sarah way past the age of childbearing to have a child at 90 years old, right? It's that.
Right.
And you talking about what? This man's crazy, man. Like, they refuse. Hard-headed and stiff-necked people, man. All right, anyway, so here we go. So, for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also what? Likewise, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had power of death. That is the devil. Now he had to do it because now Hebrews 10. It's a long answer to the question, but it's real thorough. You know what I'm saying? Hebrews 10. Why did he do it? He had to do it this way because he had Hebrews 10 and verse 4. Read
10. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sin.
That's the issue right there. Because before Jesus came, if you ever sinned, you had to take your animal sacrifice to the. That is to show you. That was a schoolmaster always showing us and pointing us to the real lamb, the real one that was going to take away sin. See, them bloods of bull and goat, you had to do that every year. It means it was a remembrance of sin. But when Jesus came, he only had to go into that holy of holy one time, once, to take away that sin. You understand? Whereas the priests, they had to go every year. Every year to do this. When was that? On the Day of Atonement. That's why I say Jesus said, that's what we just read in Romans 5, where it said Jesus became our atonement. Like, he paid for that. It's paid for. You don't have to go year after year after year after year. When you get into that water, you know what I'm saying? The Lord said, I took away all your past sins, never to be brought up again. Now, what you do in the future is on you. You know what I'm saying? And if you should happen to sin against the Lord, then you know he can be merciful. But remember, while we in Hebrews, if you sin willfully, see, that's why we read earlier, those that are of the seed, those that are like we read in 1 John chapter 3, those that are born again of God sinneth not, meaning that we don't sin willfully. It should always be an accident, and God gives you provision when you sin in ignorance. But if you sin willfully after you come to the truth, what you got looking for? Read verse 25. Read verse 26. Read.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
But what?
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary.
So now you just got, all you got to look forward to is, you know what? I got to reach judgment because the blood of bulls and goats, they ain't going to save you now. Jesus, they ain't going to save you. They never could. But Jesus' sacrifice ain't going to save you no more. He died for you one time. He died for you so that you can come to repentance and then put you back on the line so that you can get right back on the road and keep these commandments. You understand? So now look, back at this is why the woman's seed has to be here. And it could not come through man. So now it says the blood, for verse 4 says, for it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sin. Wherefore, verse 5, listen.
Wherefore, when he cometh into the world,
When he comes into the world,
he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not.
this is the Lord talking to the Father. He said, look, when I come into the world, he said, look, sacrifices and offerings thou wouldest not. God don't want that. He don't care about your offers. He never wanted that. Go ahead.
But a body hast thou prepared
A
me.
body has thou prepared me. So Jesus didn't come of Mary. He came through Mary. He came through her. Okay? And it had to be that way. because he is the Son of God. Go ahead, bro. So he had to deal with man. He had to put on man's flesh because man is flesh, and man is who sinned against God. So he had to come in this shape and form, but he couldn't come. He couldn't come through Adam, through the lineage. You understand? I mean, through his physical seed, because it's tainted already. So God, that's why Jesus is called the second Adam. And I'm gonna prove that to you. Go ahead, keep reading that.
In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast no pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O God.
That's right.
And when he said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin, thou wouldest not,
God never wanted that.
neither hast pleasure therein.
So he don't have no pleasure in that. But that was there to put a so to speak, a band-aid over the situation until Jesus could come and remedy the whole situation. That's all them sacrifices were. And Jesus being the second Adam, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. First Corinthians 15 and pick it up at verse 45.
And so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul.
So now we're talking about Adam and the what's name in the creation. He was made a living soul. What about the second Adam?
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
So now that last Adam was a quickening spirit. That's Jesus, right? But we're gonna make it plain. Keep on reading.
Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual,
That's right.
but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual.
So now exactly, because the better product is the one at the end. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning of something. So your end product is when you become God. Keep reading.
The first man is of the earth, earthy.
Go ahead.
The second man is the Lord from heaven.
So that made it real plain. All right. So that second Adam is, there it is. So I hope that answers your question, brother. You know what I mean? You straight on that? Cool. I mean, if you, all right. Praise the Lord. Yes, sir.
Hi. Good
How you doing?
day. How you doing, boss?
Oh, good. Boss.
He's prettier than me, so.
Yeah, that's funny. Go ahead. Oh man, I don't know what that's about, but please go ahead, please.
You can go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'm good.
In regards to,
Yeah, I say the best
is
for
it true?
last.
Is it true? So it's the 6 days of creation, Adam and Eve,
Uh-huh.
right? And then there's 7,000 more years, the 12 days or 12,000 years.
Yeah.
That's true. Can you report the scriptures? Because that's a little confusing to me.
Okay. You trying to figure out?
So like,
Oh, I got you.
You got it?
All right, I got you. So look at Genesis. All right. Let's go. Let's start here first. Let's start here first.
What was his question? What was your question?
Go to First Peter.
Should I repeat the question? Yes.
Yeah. Go to 2 Peter.
Is it true that in regards to the creation story, Adam and Eve were created on the 6th day, and then afterwards the 7,000 more years? The 12,000.
Yeah. So let's look at it.
Totality, right? Including, yeah.
But how many man? How many did man? How many years does mankind have? Huh?
Yeah, six. No, 7.
And totality.
7.
Thank you. That's what it's all. God got 7 all the way around the board. 8 meaning
8 meetings are finished.
complete. You know what I mean? Spiritual complete. So now, let's see. First, second, was it 2 Peter?
Yeah.
3 and 8. Go ahead.
But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with the Lord as 1,000 years.
Beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as what?
1,000 years.
And what else?
And 1,000 years as one day.
All right, now how many days did it take for the Lord to create the heavens and the earth?
6 days.
6 days.
6
And he
days.
rested what?
The 7th day.
Right? So we got, how many is that? A day to the Lord is what?
1,000.
All right, so now when man gets on the scene, right? Because they say we 6,000 years from Adam. We 6,000 years from Adam. From Adam. It took him 6,000 years to make the earth, right? 6 days to make the earth.
6
days he took.
6,000 years.
In our time, yes.
For man. But for God, 6 days.
Which is what? A day to the Lord is
Years for man.
1,000. To create the earth.
Huh?
To create the earth.
6 days.
Okay, but in our time, what does that mean?
You know what time it's come? He say, for him, 1 day for him is 1,000 years for us.
Mm-hmm.
So he did take 606 days, create the earth and the rest on the 7th. So he tell man now, you do your labor, I'm coming to the rest, which I set apart. So all of them meet up right in this rest right here, which is the 7th, which is man's 7th day, which is 7,000 years.
So now that you got that out of the way,
So Adam died on the 7th day then?
Adam died in
He
one
died
day.
in the 6th day.
He died in one day.
so I mean, where are you trying to get to? You trying to find out where we at?
I'm just trying to understand when did Adam die? Did he die the 6th day or did he die the 7th day?
So the very day.
Because when
Nah, he didn't die on the 7th day because did he die? Did he die in the Lord's rest?
I don't know. I mean, what it was the creation of the beasts of the field and man wasn't done.
Let's read it. Then we'll get
And
all.
then the Lord called it evening and morning was the 6th day. But then evening and morning is the end of the day, correct?
He
And then he lived another 930 years. So what day did he
Even the
die?
morning is the beginning, not the end.
The evening and morning was the 6th day. That means that the day was ended.
Let's read it. Let's read it. That's going to get rid of all the conjecture. It's going to get rid of all that. We're going to read it.
Where we at?
Go to Genesis 1. Genesis 1. Genesis 1. Go ahead, bro. Let me get the 1 and 1.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
All right, so look, in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth, period. When was the beginning? How long, how old is the earth? How old is the earth? So in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth, period. Stop right there. We don't know when the beginning is. All right, now, listen. Now, the earth was what?
Was without form and void,
Uh-huh,
and darkness was upon the face of the deep,
uh-huh.
and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
How long did this take?
0 days.
How long did all this take right here? We don't know. What's our measure and unit of time right now?
Sun and moon, the stars.
24 hours.
Sun and moon's not made until till the 4th day. The moon and the sun is not made until the 4th day.
That's what he gave us to measure time.
Absolutely. So now when we look in 1 Peter, it says a day to the Lord is how long?
1,000 years.
And 1,000 years is what? All right. So now let's go right here now. The sun and the moon's not made until the 4th day, right? So now let me see. Verse 3 says what?
And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Keep going.
And God saw the light that it was good,
Keep going.
and God divided the light from the darkness.
Keep on going.
And God called the light day,
Uh-huh.
and the darkness he called night.
Go ahead.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
How long is that? How long did that take? Was that 12 hours? Or was that like God said? 1,000 years, was it however long it take? How long was that?
according to the scriptures.
It says it's 1 day.
So that's 1 day, right?
That's 1 day.
So
So it
that's
took
9,000.
Is man here though?
What I'm saying is that he's speaking to us.
Remember, he's going through Moses. Like, how long? See, man got stuff set up like for time. Like, you got 12 hours in the daytime, 12 hours in the night for man, right? There's 12 hours in the evening, which is the beginning of the day, and it's 12 hours in the night. Now, God is creating this earth, right? How long does it take? How long did it take him to make the earth? Was it 12
Well, the
physical
earth was
hours?
already created, right? At the beginning. And so now he's bringing forth whatever he's putting on earth, started up with light. And that was the evening was the first day.
All right, how long was that? We need to know if it's 12 hours. We need to know the day to the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. We're establishing where we get this 12,000 years from. We're going to find out.
So is it 1,000 years?
So now man is not on here until what year? Day 6. That's 6,000 years that went by. Man, and he rested on the 7,000 year. Right? He is finished from all his work. Correct?
You rested on the 7th day. Use it like that, 7th day.
The 7th day. God rested from his work that he had made. All right. So now your question was
So after
from 6,000, man starts going.
all right, so is that the end of the 6,000? That man started going. So at the beginning of the 6,000, the man started going.
Yes, it will have to be.
I guess you have to
Because
be.
he started, because if you don't live 1 day, if you don't live 1 day and he gets 7 days, just like the feast of unleavened.
Right. Oh, I got you. I got your answer. Yeah, otherwise God would be a liar, right?
We can't overlap 1 day. Like, because he gave man one day. Like, that day you shall surely die. Nobody went past 1,000 years because 1,000 years would be going into another day. No? Am I bugging?
No. But I'm saying, like, if he died at 900 and listen, if he died at 930 years, like you're saying, whether it was in the day that God arrested or whether it was in the 6th day, he never made a day.
But so man commenced work on the 7th day.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So he died in the 7th day of God's rest. So
I can't
So
see.
to get to the 12,000, you have to start at the 7,000.
Where did we get 12,000?
Where did 12,000? What are we doing?
All right, he got 12,000 through the first 6 days, and then he's saying.
Then it's
How do we get?
Okay, so what happened before that?
One day at a time.
When the earth was made, how many years was
That's
that?
what he's saying, he said 6,000. And then he's saying man was here around 6,000, so then we only have about 6,000.
We can't conclude anything, because it doesn't tell us how long the day was.
Our
how
units
long
of
it was.
measuring time started on.
So listen, hold.
The 7,000 years that, God has for us.
So look, it's written out. It's already written out. So it starts for man, and that when he died, don't even matter. But what happens is mankind starts from the 6,000 years. Mankind starts from 6,000 years. I mean, that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Mankind starts from 6,000 years.
And then we have 7 years, 7 days rather, to complete it.
For God's work to be completed by mankind. Because the 7,000 year, when he comes back, but Jesus won't come back. He comes back.
So are we in the 6,000 year now? 7. We getting close to 7.
We're getting close.
We would have been resting if it was the 7th.
You're getting real close.
You got it.
Because what's going to happen when the Lord's rest comes? That's the day of the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's the day of the Lord. That's the great day of the Lord.
So we're close.
So we're going to be in his rest. That's going to be the Lord's rest right
Yeah, I
there.
got you.
So Jesus Christ, he died. What is it? When did he die?
Something BC, 81, 0.
Remember, time was rolling. Remember, it was backward before Christ came,
Yeah.
and now we in year 2020.
2020 years.
You know what I'm saying? You got 2,000 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like we getting close to this thing. And this year, and when he come back, what's gonna happen?
Now they counting, no, I was gonna say, are they counting 2000 as 2 years? Cause then you still got 5,000 years to go.
That would be just 2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Oh,
And then, like I said, from Adam,
oh, okay.
we 6,000 years from Adam. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So 4,000 we're
Go
down.
by the genealogy, it's about 6,000.
And unfortunately, I know I just gotta write it out one day so that we can get to the point where we can actually just see it. You know what I mean? Because people get confused, including myself, when we start going back, when we start counting time backwards and then to forward. But when you can see, like, it was like 4,000 BC.
Yeah, it got
You know what I'm
up to about 5.
No, it's 4,000. From, oh man, let me just, listen, we have a phone. We have a phone that we can look this thing up.
What year was it that we left?
5,000 and change.
When we left, what, Egypt?
Yeah, I thought it was
I
5.
don't know. From since they existed.
No, now y'all really gotta get me to go up there and look at this joint for real. And I will. But to answer your question though, with it being 12,000 or 6,000, I mean, what did you want to know? Because I got all confused with what's going on.
I'm a little confused. So I just want to know in regards to man, how long have you been here in our time?
6,000 years.
So we've been here for 6,000 years. So we have 6,000 plus 6,000, that's what, 12,000 years. I mean, before the creation of man. 12,000.
Where do you get from?
Yeah, that's what I was trying.
I just, when you go, no, just, we're right there. Where does 12 come from? That's all, and then you can just.
Well, the 6 days of creation, right? That's God's 6 days. Is that equivalent to 1,000 years of our time?
But see, I don't think that's a fair assessment though, because what he said, the moon and sun wasn't created
So the
until
fourth
like
day.
the
The
fourth.
Bible says 1,000 years is a day to the Lord. A day is 1,000 years to the Lord.
Yeah, but we didn't.
That's God comparing time
Yeah,
to
but
himself.
that's God put in his thoughts so we can comprehend the grand.
So I don't know why
scheme.
y'all, so when it says a day, say 1,000. Evening morning was the first day, 1,000. Evening morning was the second day, 1,000. Evening morning was the third day, 1,000. Evening morning was the fourth day. Sun and moon was created. Time for man, 1,000. Evening morning was the fifth day, 1,000. Sixth day, what happened? Man was made. First day of man. 6 days already been there, right? But for the first day of man, man came on scene when? In the 6,000 year. That's his first year. That's his first year. That's man's first year. Mankind. Mankind come from Adam, correct? All right. So now, was man here? What happened to the prior to the 5 days? Was man there? Can you count that for man? Man counts when he's on the scene, right? So all them 5 that was before it, before him, man starts in the 6,000 year. The 7,000 year, God rested from all that. 1,
So, okay, so
2,
Adam died on the
3,
sixth
4.
day then.
Adam died the first day.
He died the first day. Absolutely. He died the first day.
First day he died. God never lived to see one day.
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, so he died, yeah.
Because in Leviticus 23, the Lord said, 6 days shall thou labor. That's gonna be 6,000 years.
That's 6,000 years for
For
mankind.
mankind to
period.
labor.
Absolutely.
Right,
That's-
right.
Let's read that too.
There we go.
Well, no, we can't even read that.
All right.
Well, see, there we go. That's how it goes.
So now the time is counted after the man was on scene.
Absolutely, because how's it gonna count before? Did
No,
anybody do?
I'm saying after that, it's, now, we only been 1,000 years then.
No, it's not 1,000 years. Time is going, but he give man 6 days to labor.
6
So
days
because
without
the
labor.
first day already guys more than 1,000 years.
Where
What
is
I was
it?
asking is, all the years after man was on scene, that's counted?
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
No, but I'm,
Then I am your BC and your AD and your.
Why wouldn't it be counted?
no, I'm just trying to see where we are in time now, because you said, never mind.
Use a parameter. Sister.
Hold on.
Sister dear.
Hold on.
I'm good.
Listen.
I don't start.
Side, you got
Listen,
something.
but if Abraham is 3,500 years ago and we 2,000, no, we can count AD, BC, and AD.
All that counts
And they're
together. All that counts. From Adam. That's
And
why I
don't
say,
go back before when he started number the day, the evening, and the morning. It don't hurt to over there, come cast.
y'all had this problem, I mean, this question before?
No.
No?
No.
I mean, it all counts. Yes, sister, please.
Understanding from the discussion right now is that we have 7,000 years. How we get to 12,000 is that when man is created, that 6,000 year, we started again. If we count from then, for him to have 7 years, or 7,000 years, that's how you get to the 12,000. Is that correct, or I'm totally off on the discussion?
Is 12,000 even in this, in like, because we never clarified where.
Brothers,
12,000
you know what? Listen. I come back next week, don't I? I'm gonna have all this written down for you. I just thought about that. I don't gotta answer all this right now. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and write it all the way out, the way I understand it and when we know it, and we're gonna put it all together. This is a very good. This is the first thing we're starting off with. This is the very first thing we're starting off with.
You always say in Deuteronomy 32. When the Most High divided to the earth, to the nation, your inheritance.
Yeah.
He separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of children of Israel.
Absolutely.
12.
So that's 12 right there.
That's 12 we talking. So here you have to count it 5 and 7, 12. We're gonna rest on the 12,000 years.
That makes absolutely. And we're gonna put it all out in perspective. From man, basically man, the count started for man. It started for man. God already counted out how long it took for him to make the earth down. When man got on the scene, we're counting 1. We'll have it all laid out. That's the first thing we're dealing with when I come back next week, Lord willing. So if I didn't get to your questions or answers, forgive me. Post them online and we'll deal with it later. Yo, we're gonna stand and face Jerusalem and open up. Close out. Nah, that's really good. All right, everybody, come on. Let's close out. Come on, Keith.
Okay. Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done in earth
Thy will be done in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom
and the power,
and the power
and the glory,
and the glory
forever.
forever.
In Jesus' name,
In Jesus' name.
amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. All right. Yeah. Good money.